Guatemala, Electoral Boards completed the first day of the review of the tally sheets ordered by the Constitutional Court, with some complaints of pressure and disorder. And the 8th International Seminar of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, has already started in Vienna, the capital of Austria. And the Russian authorities report 1 dead and 41 civilians injured after shelling by Ukrainian forces on the Donetsk People's Republic. Hello from the headquarters of TeleSUR English in Havana, Cuba. This is From the South. I'm your anchor Gladys Quesada, and these are the news. In Guatemala on Tuesday, the Electoral Boards completed the first day of revision of the ballot papers ordered by the Constitutional Court. The departmental electoral boards of Huehuetenango, San Marcos, Quetzaltenango, Baja Verapaz, Petén, Totonicapán, and Reoluleu finished the procedure, and the remaining ones will continue on Wednesday. Some prosecutors have expressed dissatisfaction with the disparity of criteria, while the boards have denounced pressures and threats from the representatives of certain parties, but reaffirmed their commitment to protect the vote and comply with the court's instruction. Ecuador's National Electoral Council began on Tuesday the printing of ballots for the early elections of August 20th, 2023. According to the National Electoral Council, a total of 39 million ballots will be printed for the first round, corresponding to the Presidential, National Assembly, and the provincial elections. On the other hand, the Institution for the Popular Consultation of the Yazuni detailed that around 13,200,000 ballots will be stamped. The National Electoral Council assured that in order to ratify the transparency of the voting, the electoral material will have security elements such as invisible ink with reaction to ultraviolet light and highly complex structures that will allow the identification of hidden elements, which prevent photocopying or scanning of the printed elements. On Tuesday, the former comptroller of Ecuador, Pablo Celi de la Torre, has been sentenced to prison along with 10 other people accused of organized crime. The Attorney General's office informed that it was notified of the written sentence in de las Torres case, in which former Deputy Comptroller Pablo Celi and the former Petro-Ecuador manager Pablo Flores were sentenced as direct perpetrators of the crime of organized crime. Each was sentenced to 13 years and 4 months in prison. The sentence of Judge Walter Macias Fernandez was announced in February, but after the procedural notification met on Tuesday, it has been confirmed. According to the charges, they obtained economic benefits in exchange for the fading of glosses and the payment of payroll for contracts signed with the oil company. And various groups in Haiti have rejected the proposal of United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres regarding a possible military intervention in the Caribbean country. According to Mario Joseph of the International Bureau of Lawyers, Guterres' attempt only seeks to strengthen the supremacy of the imperialist countries, particularly the United States. Members of the Montana Agreement Monitor's Office reject the proposal because it will not solve the multidimensional crisis in the country and that the country is suffering. Jacques Ted Sendic, a member of the office, affirms that technical assistance and the definitive rupture of alliances between rulers and criminal groups will alleviate the criminality problem. And the summit of Mercosur presidents ended on Tuesday in Argentina with a firm stance on the demands of the European Union. The heads of state have ratified their interest in establishing trade relations with the European bloc, but not at any price, especially Argentine President Alberto Fernandez, who has handed over the pro-tempore presidency to Brazilian President Luis Ignacio Lula da Silva, that has reiterated that the region cannot be integrated into the world only as a supplier of raw materials, but as an exporter of processed products or produce, and a position that has been endorsed by the new president of the European Union, who has been elected as the new president of the bloc. And precisely in Argentina, Brazilian President Luis Inácio Lula da Silva took over the pro-tempore presidency of Mercosur from his Argentine counterpart Alberto Fernandez. Media reports state that the expectations of these 6 months of Lula's administration in Mercosur focus on achieving a free trade agreement with the European Union. According to Brazilian government officials, the government is already in the process of finalizing the agreement to be presented at the Iguazu Forum and then taken to the European bloc. In addition to this commitment, Mercosur also has pending negotiations with Singapore, Canada, Indonesia, and Vietnam, common strategies with the Dominican Republic, as well as the completion of Bolivia's Mercosur membership.
During this semester, steps have been taken to strengthen regional cooperation and promote social inclusion in our countries. We also convey our best wishes to the incoming presidency of Brazil. We are sure that under the leadership of Brother Lula and guided by his vision of integration, Mercosur will continue to move forward to respond to the enormous challenges of our times. Thank you very much.
And the Argentine President Alberto Fernandez insisted on the need for the countries of the region to complement their potential and strengthen their economies.
There are productive realities that complement, transform, and boost one another. I'm talking about giving value to what we are and to what we can become. I'm talking about being part of a world with developing economic forces and not with the weakness of those being primarized. No one can force us to be in raw material suppliers, so others develop their industry and then sell the product back to us at ridiculously high prices. Such unaware vision could lead some to think that in this way we will never reach the free trade standards some partners expect.
Brazil's President Luis Inácio Lula da Silva says Mercosur will have the challenge of setting up a more democratic and participatory mechanism.
I'm convinced that the construction of a more democratic and participatory Mercosur is the path we must follow. Dear Alberto Fernandez, I would like to thank the efforts of your team that led Mercosur during the semester that is now coming to an end. The Argentinian presidency sought to deepen the similarities and reduce the asymmetries between the member states.
And now let's take a short break. But remember, you can join us on TikTok at TeleSUR English, where you will find the news in different formats, news updates and more. Other stories coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back. The 8th International Seminar of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, an extraordinarily important event to discuss key issues in the energy sector, has already started in Vienna, the capital of Austria. The Secretary General of the powerful group, Haitham Al-Gais, has recognized that the global industry is going through a critical moment, which is why the discussions at the seminar take on special relevance, given the high level and weight of the participants. The event, which will end tomorrow on Thursday, will be attended by energy ministers and industry representatives from member countries, allied countries, and governments from various countries around the world. And now we welcome our special envoy, Jorge Gestoso, who is in Vienna with all the latest updates from the 8th OPEC International Seminar.
Vienna at the 8th Annual International Seminar. The subject is the transition for energy in a way that could be sustainable and inclusive. The key here is to define the future of energy of the world in the coming future. Precisely one of the things that is the key of all the participants, especially the members of the OPEC, the 13 countries that have been the founders of the OPEC, plus the 10 called the OPEC Plus, the 10 other ones, 23 in total, are trying to decide that the market should be stable. Stability of the market is the key issue. Why? Because there's an issue here to have the prices of the oil barrel in the neighborhood of $80 a barrel, and there have been many factors in the international markets in terms of economy instability, the war in Ukraine, and the interests of some other countries of the world that are not members of the OPEC to push the market down, to put the prices down. Precisely this week, Russia has announced a reduction of 500,000 barrels a day of their oil, one of the biggest producers of oil in the world, Russia, but one of the biggest is Saudi Arabia, and they have decided to cut the production in 1 million barrels a day. In the world, so far today, 101 million barrels a day are produced, and therefore the importance for OPEC is to have, I repeat because this is a key element here, the international economy that basically reforms and repair the prices not to go down, but to be stable. Stability of the market, stability of the price is what is being discussed, and it's in a seminar that is 2 days long. Today is the first day. Why Vienna? Because the headquarters of OPEC are here in Vienna, and because they are convening here producers of oil, consumers of oil, the finance world, the environmental world, all that are together here, about close to 1,000 people participating in these meetings. We get back to you now.
And the meeting of the Ministerial Coordination Bureau of the Non-Aligned Movement, the largest movement of countries fighting for a new and more just world order, has started in the Azerbaijani capital of Baku. The meeting began at the convention center, where the foreign ministers of countries such as Venezuela, which is attending the last meeting as a member of the Troika, Turkey, Iran, Syria, and Cuba are meeting. This ministerial meeting of the movement's coordinating bureau has been convened to continue advancing in the process of revitalizing the movement as a forum for political consultation. The non-aligned movement was founded in 1961 in Belgrade and is currently made up of 120 countries. The government of China announced on Tuesday that it has imposed export restrictions on 2 strategic raw materials, gallium and germanium, which are crucial to the world's electronic chip manufacturing industry. Chinese President Xi Jinping said the United States has taken increasingly aggressive measures to curb his country's technological development. China wants to work with nations around the world that reject moves that set up barriers, decouple and cut off supply chains, the Chinese leader said, stressing that China proposes fairer and more win-win cooperation to ensure equitable sharing of development. In October, the Joe Biden administration unveiled an unprecedented set of export controls restricting Chinese companies from buying advanced chips made anywhere in the world with U.S. technology as well as equipment for manufacturing these devices. And China's President Xi Jinping urged the leaders of Russia, Iran, and other Shanghai Alliance states on Tuesday to boost ties and resist sanctions, as Vladimir Putin thanked the bloc for support during a failed rebellion. China and Russia have in recent years ramped up economic cooperation and diplomatic contacts. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the SCO, encompasses a vast stretch of the globe from Moscow to Beijing. It includes around half the world's population when observed and dialogue partner nations are included. During the virtual meeting, the Chinese president called for efforts to safeguard regional peace and ensure common security, adding that they urge SCO member states to enhance their solidarity. For his part, the Russian President Vladimir Putin, speaking via video link at the meeting, thanked the Beijing headquartered SCO for its support. During his participation in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the SCO Summit, the President of China, Xi Jinping, expressed his willingness to share new development opportunities with the members of the organization.
China hopes to share new development opportunities with SCO members and all countries in the world through its achievements in modernization and together make the world a better and fair place. The cause finds great support and a journey with many companions coming far. The development of SCO is in accordance with the trend of our time and goes along with the direction of human progress. Through our joint efforts, it will definitely grow more and more.
Now we move on to other topics. Shelling by Ukrainian forces on the Donetsk People's Republic has left 1 fatality and 41 civilians injured. According to the information provided by the mayor of Marikiva, Vladislav Kulyatshorov, the attack was directed against a residential area in the city. As a result of this attack, a 61-year-old man died and several family residences and administrative offices were completely destroyed. Among these, the mayor reported 9 medical institutions with considerable damage. Currently, the wounded are being treated and the operational services are still functioning. TeleSUR English launches its own videos-on-demand site for you to go and revisit our interviews, the top stories, the special broadcastings, and more. Just go to the top left corner in our website homepage and click in the video option to access our VOD platform. And now we will have a short break. Stay with us. Welcome back to From the South. On Tuesday, a fighter jet was shot down in Khartoum, where clashes and artillery fire targeted several neighborhoods in Sudan's war-torn capital. The Rapid Support Forces said they had arrested a pilot after he landed, in a statement also accusing the army of heinous massacres in the Khartoum region. Violent clashes using several types of weapons have been reported by residents on Tuesday, including airstrikes near the state television building and clashes with machine guns. The Sudanese army, led by General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, has been at war since April 15th with paramilitaries of the Rapid Support Forces, led by its former runner 2, or number 2, General Mohammed Hamdani Daglo. The conflict has killed nearly 3,000 people, according to the NGO ACLED, and 2.8 million displaced persons and refugees, according to the UN. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu declared the end of the operation of occupation forces in the Palestinian city of Jenin amid strong international condemnation. Israeli security officials confirmed that the occupation forces had begun to withdraw, but the operation was compromised due to the fighting with Palestinian factions. Israel attacked the city under the pretext of dealing with the presence of suspected terrorist groups, targeting multiple civilian structures. Large military bulldozers tore through alleyways, leaving severe damage to roads and buildings, and thousands of residents fled the city after basic services such as electricity and water were cut off. The operation left at least 12 dead and thousands of displaced. Prime Minister Netanyahu threatened with new military offensives. Thousands of Yemenis rallied in the capital to protest against the Israeli military operation in the West Bank city of Jenin and the burning of the Quran outside a Stockholm mosque. The protesters gathered at Zena Zabab al-Yemen Square when they burned Israeli and U.S. flags. On the other hand, the demonstration's organizing committee issued a statement blaming the United States for its support of Israel in committing its acts of violence and assured that the enemy will once again regret its aggression. The text also praised the heroic response of the Palestinian resistance and expressed Yemen's full willingness to participate in the struggle against Zionism until the liberation of the entire Palestinian land. The organizers called on the region to boycott Swedish, U.S., and Israeli products and to break diplomatic relations with them.
We are rallying today to denounce the burning and desecration of the Holy Quran in Sweden and also to support our brothers in Palestine. The Palestinian cause is our cause.
The Yemeni people took the streets to announce to the whole world that whoever burns the Quran will have his soul ripped out of his body. The Yemeni people will not allow any person to mock the Book of God or make fun of the most sacred sanctities of Muslims.
And we have come to the end of this news brief. But remember, you can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. And also, if you feel so inclined, please join us on social media for all the latest news. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm your anchor, Gladys Quesada. Thank you for watching.